Hey guys, here's another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. It's a Wednesday, which I also like to call Rafa Friday. So Rafa, as you guys who follow know, works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So he is off after today. So good for him. Hope he enjoys his long weekend. Anyway, let's talk about what he did today. So he put the Deluxe trim here on the bottom of the bus. At least I think he did that today. He might have done that tomorrow. I don't know. I probably need to pay more attention. But anyway, that went on either today or tomorrow. I think it went on today. But if I'm wrong, forgive me. Anyway, the jail bars went in today. So those of you that aren't intimately familiar with these buses, these bars that go around the rear windows here, kind of in the luggage compartment, are called jail bars. That's kind of a fun name for them. Basically what those do is, as you can see, if somebody had a bunch of luggage piled up, real high in the back cargo area, it would just keep that luggage from smacking against the windows and potentially breaking them. There's also a bar, which we haven't installed yet, that runs about this high right here, and it runs across the back of the back seat here to also kind of isolate this area back here and keep luggage from flying forward and hitting a passenger in the head or whatever. So, yeah, jail bars. Cool touch on early buses. So, let's see, what else did he do? I think he put these latches on today as well. And slightly less exciting is he put on the weather strip here that goes at the hinge area along the rear hatch. And then I think he also put, in fact, I know he also put on the seal that goes around here that seals the rear hatch to the body. And then likewise, he did the same on the cargo doors here, put on the seals on those where they seal to the body. So moving right along here with this one. Good to be working on it again, making some progress. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous bus. Looking forward to getting it done. Still need to buy the Deluxe trim. We get that from Grumpy's Metal. Really great name. Grumpy's Metal makes nicer Deluxe molding than Wolfsburg West. It fits better and it looks better, so that's what we use. Anyway, that's about it for this bus here. For my part, I focused on the 68 double cab today. And the first thing that I did was pull the main wiring harness, which you can see right here, just kind of all dangling there. So this is basically the part of it that goes in the engine compartment. So this is, idiot lights to the generator, and then to the rear tail lights, backup lights, etc. That's what most of this wiring here is. I mentioned yesterday I added a couple wires to that also for gauges, or we could use those to power the air compressor, the compressor for air conditioning, which this bus is going to be getting. So you can see some more wires under here, and hidden back here, right here, what I'm touching is the little pigtail for the controller for the EFI system. So that actually runs, I run that along with the main harness all the way up to the front of the bus, and so that actually connects onto a harness, and I'll probably run that up maybe underneath here somewhere and put that little computer maybe over here off to the side, or I might even hide it up in here somewhere. Again, I think I mentioned yesterday, it's not something anyone ever needs access to. It's just a little box with some cables plugged into it. So it doesn't necessarily need to be somewhere that's easily accessible, but we'll see where we're going to put it. It might look kind of cool to show it, just, with the fuel injection system, but whatever. I don't have to decide that now. Anyway, so that's the wiring at the back, and then on these, it runs along a frame rail under here. This was a little bit of a pain, actually, to put the wiring harness on here, the main harness. It took me longer than it normally would because when the bus was disassembled, they stripped out the old wiring harness. And so there's some places, well, there's two main places. There's one back here that's maybe about a foot or a little bit longer where the wiring harness runs through the frame. And there's kind of like an opening on each side of the frame. And so basically I had to run a fish tape through that, grab the fish tape, get it out, and then connect the wiring harness to it and then pull it through. And then there's an even worse section like that, which is probably about 3 feet long here on the front of the bus, where it enters the frame back about here somewhere underneath, and then it goes, and it actually kind of has to go up over the front beam, and then it comes out up here somewhere, and then from there it runs along another short section of frame and then up inside the bus. So it took me a lot longer because that was not there, and again, usually we would use that to pull the new harness through with the old one. So pretty much had to screw around with fish tape and so on, but it's all good. So here is the main harness coming through in here, and also I went ahead and did the headlight harness, which there wasn't really much to do. Basically I just ran the headlight wires into each headlight bucket and then kind of laid the rest of the harness down here. So with these later buses, unlike the early ones, the fuse box mounts to the dash, so it's going to go kind of up underneath about over here where I'm waving my finger around like an idiot. So the fuse box mounts up underneath the dash there, so I can't really do any more wiring per se until we put the dash in, and I'm still looking for a nicer dash for this car. The one that came with it's got a bunch of cracks in it and is just generally pretty beat up looking, so trying to find a nicer one. And then we're gonna have Octavio upholster it. It's gonna look bitchin'. The top of it is gonna be leather and so on. But yeah, so as far as the wiring goes, that's kind of about all I can do at the moment. I mentioned the pigtail for the display for the EFI system, so that's this on this side. So I'll probably end up mounting that little box maybe kind of underneath the dash or something. I left myself plenty of cable here so we could put that thing just about anywhere we want it. And then again, those 2 extra wires that I ran that we can use for gauges or whatever, they're just kind of dangling there for now. Other than that, I actually put in the shifter today, or well, the shift rod mechanism. So you can see the front rod here runs to about here somewhere, and then it connects to another rod which runs through a long tube in the chassis. That long rear shift rod was missing, so bought it. Wolfsburg West makes a nice reproduction of it. It was raw metal, so I painted it, even though it's totally hidden. This is a super nice bus. We don't want any rusty, nasty stuff on here, even hidden. We want everything to look nice everywhere, always on this bus. And that's true for most cars we build. So yeah, that's, you can actually see the end of it. Or can you? Yeah, you can see that little thing right there. That's the end of the shift rod, approximately where it's going to connect on the nose cone of the transmission. So did that stuff, and what else? Also not super exciting, I put the little stopper. The other side of this is basically a square stopper that the clutch pedal rides against when it comes all the way up to stop its travel. Unlike the brake pedal, which doesn't need such a thing, the clutch pedal has to have something to stop it, or otherwise it would just pull it into the floor of the car. So this little stopper up underneath here is the end of the clutch pedal travel in this direction toward you. So not very exciting, but one of those things that has to be done. And that thing's actually a pain in the ass to put in. Anyone that's put one in, they can be pretty tough to get in. Anyway, so that's it. The shop looks empty today because the one family 64 super gorgeous Bahama Blue Beetle is next door at Octavio's. Those guys are starting their magic, putting in the headliner, putting in the metal sunroof and its respective headliner. Basically, they're going to put the carpet in the rear section. So yeah, they'll have that thing for a couple days. Very excited to get it back and show you guys because it's going to look freaking rad. The red bug is still here, but it's just outside. We just rolled it outside today to make some space to work in here. Of course, it's going back in the shop as soon as I finish this video so I can go home. We don't leave customer cars outside, generally speaking. So yeah, I'll be pushing that one back in here. If anyone is local and wants to come by and help me push a car, come on, like in a minute or two. Anyway, so that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.